Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 67 Holy Style of Life part 2. Okay, this is the second video because we started a little bit as an introduction, the concept and so on. And here we're gonna unfold and continue, especially with breaks, obstacles, and also some operational solution. So just to make it short, Holy Style of Life means to apply daily life, spiritual daily life in application, in real, for real, concretely, okay? And Holy Style of Life means literally, this is a neologism, evoking the concept of to apply a holistic approach of life. That to say the big picture, understanding the big picture, functioning of an organization, a body, whatever, and also the different components of them, okay? That's really the point. Holy means sacred, means to literally to vibrate the holiness, the sacred dimension. It's literally what I consider as contemplating. Contemplate, temple within you. Okay, so it's not a building, it's not physical, it is everywhere, borderless. Okay, so that's essentially the point. So we started. Now we're going to continue with this notion of obstacle. The obstacles, what are they? The obstacle of this good implementation of the holistic vision. Holistic, this is global, and with the notion of interconnection between the disciplines and so on. Disciplines like science, like economy, and so on and so forth. Everything, not exclusively spirituality, of course not. Everything is a part of it. And also, this is in opposition, in a certain way, with our way of seeing binary, okay, black, white, good, bad, and so on. This is global aspect, important point. So, the main two things, how to start, which is even endless, but is the notion of apocalypse, which means apocalypsos in Greek means literally unveil, okay, so revelation. It means that you take it out, okay, the veils of illusion, okay. If I put sunglasses and I put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, at the end it's only black, okay. Why? Because I have a filter, layers of filter. It's the same principle. So you unveil all that to different points. This is literally what we call Maya. Maya means literally illusion. Okay, ill like sick also, illusion. So it's just realize with real eyes the real lies. So it is, first step is identifying at the large scale. And secondly, or it's more on the other way around normally, individually. Okay, so let's focus on individually. Okay, that's why I'm always insisting is inwardly and then outwardly. Inwardly, first step of the apocalypse about the revelation unveiling is unveil, to take it out, the veils of your personality, the ego. Ego, age God out. Okay, the membrane for which you're out of the notion of unity. Okay, anyway, it's just a good servant, not a bad master. Is a bad master, but he's a good servant. It's just a vehicle to bring you somewhere and so on. Okay, you don't deify maybe your car, maybe not. So it's just that. It's just that. So it's not good or bad. It's just a tool. Okay. So the analysis, the cleansing of the ego is the first step. Is to do a diagnosis. Why I am like this? What is the identification of my personality? Personality means different layers of mask. Mask because in the past, in the Greek theater, happiness, okay, smiley, okay, we had a mask. Why? Because it was silent theater, okay, so obliged to indicate a mask of emotions, feelings, and so on. So, and that's why personality is coming from there. Personality is individuality. Individuality, you have duality, the fragmentation with the whole, the unity that we come from initially before our incarnation. That's the point. Okay, so you just do a diagnosis. Why I am like this? Why my personality is like this? Why I have this character? I inherit. This is an heritage from my father, from my grandfather. It's rejection, whatever. then it's usually is the consequences of a education. Okay, your parents. Okay, you reject or you accept or you amend. It's possible as well. 3 options. Then education. You were born in States. You were born in Australia. You were born in Pakistan. You were born in Kenya. Is different education. Okay, even if it's Anglo-Saxon system. Okay, so another example in Belgium, and or in Spain or in Portugal. Okay, it's different education system of education. Indonesia, same, still different. So education, the system of education, the school and so on. If you did a career, if you did an education like a degree and so on, all this shape your mind, literally, your culture. You're born in this country, another one, and so on. The language also shape your mind, and the construction, the building of your neurons, and so on. The mindset, your environment, your friends, your colleagues, and so on. Your culture, the religion, and so on. Your reject of the religion. All this shape your mind. So the question is, do I think because I've been shaped by the environment, or I think by myself? So that's important point. So either you're completely confident that it's fair enough and you like it like this, that's perfect. Okay, fine, fair enough. And then the second part of the identification of the ego is, and the cleansing also, is the cleansing, sorry, is the fact to say, okay, I still have some, what we call suffering body. Suffering body is a part of yourself, which is like emotions. Like I do a parallel with, you know, backpack, okay, full of stones. It's heavy, it's dark, and what are they? They are each trouble, each trauma you have, and sometimes we just have in the back, and we don't remember we have it. Okay, so we have a trauma, and we didn't solve the problem, so we keep it. So we walk, we run, we climb. Sometimes after a while we just check, and why it's still there? Okay, so it's not so easy to take it back and to throw away. No, it's just to embrace. And this is literally a long-term run, walk, and discipline also. A wish, a desire to change is to welcome, to accept, and to neutralize this experience, this hardship of life, to be peaceful. If not, if you still are, let's say, resentful and so on, you're in inner conflict, so you don't evolve with this. Okay, so the goal is that first to identify your all problems you had, your trauma you had, real or not, and so this is the first step. You clean that, okay? So with therapists, with doctor, psychoanalysis, life coach, whatever, and sometimes it can work with someone, not with someone else, okay? Despite the fact that it has been, this person has been recommended by a friend of yours, for which he was successful. So it's completely different alchemy. Yeah? But this is important. Second point within the cleansing is the notion of from the heritage that you have from your family, your lineage, your ancestors, the mankind, for example, as well, can be. And also, let's say, beyond. The third aspect is from your karma. It means your soul in the previous lives, eventually, if you believe in it. Okay? Once you clean all that, okay, you are more relaxed, peaceful. Okay? A matter, you can matter, problem in English, is the same sound than matter. You know, matter is materiality. It's a problem as well. Okay? And if we see differently, the goal is to transmute matter into light. Light is weightlessness, okay? It means when is discharge of negativity, density of darkness, low vibration, and so on, okay? Ascension, it doesn't mean that you fly away in the sky. This is because you enlarge, you rise literally your vibration, your energy, and so on. That's the point. Okay, so the goal is that you clean up, and this is the principle of vitriol in alchemy, in all the spirituality. Dig down, okay, clean up, and you will find back the holy grail and or the the philosophical stone is the same principle. To insert thereby, to shape it and then to insert in a collective building of the society and your new vision eventually. So that the second pillar of it, it's cleansing illusion. The Maya is illusion of yourself. Okay, it's literally, it's the old mask, all the costume you wear for interpreting a role of the piece of theater. Okay, you're in jogging, it's more cool for running, to do some sport. You're more in suit to negotiate a loan with your banker and so on. You're a boss and so on. It's a kind of adaptation, but you are not. You are not. Your wardrobe, you identify to your wardrobe daily most of the time. It's a metaphor. But what you are, just your body. Your body is your soul, in a quote mark for this metaphor. So you can change everyday clothes and character in a certain extent, or perception, because we are different with our friends, with our kids, with our parents, with our employees, or with our boss, or any type of people. It depends. Okay, so it's not that you are radically different, but your form is different a little bit. Okay, so then what is really important is also these statements of analyzing parts of Maya illusion, revelation, is also at a large scale. A large scale means macro dimension, overview. Okay, what is it? It's usually, I use a triptych, three elements: economical, financial, okay, aspect, let's say environmental, nature, and last societal. Okay, so first one, what is it? Economy and finance. No need to have a PhD necessarily to know that the concept of sustainable growth, sustainable society based on endless increase, boosted artificially by debt, is not relevant, is even not possible for long term, is not sustainable at all, because we use some limited resources for that, petrol and so on, gas. So it's a nonsense, first of all. And also, its reason for being is the fact that it is a pyramid for which at the top is very small, and the owners exclusively, and the basis is very large. Okay, so it doesn't work. Okay, that's why Krishnamurti said in the 60s something like, it's not a proof to be healthy in a deeply sick society. Okay, it's not exactly words for words, but the concept is there. Okay, it's not a proof of being healthy, to be well tuned or adapted to a deeply, profoundly sick society. Think about that. Okay, so second aspect, nature, environment. No need to say to be necessarily super smart and so on to understand that if you take it out 50% of the components of an electronic device, it doesn't work anymore properly. Okay, or less functionality, featuring, and so on. It's the same principle. Okay, so we killed almost half of the species in the world. Insects, animals, and so on. How come nature would be still balanced? Okay, is full, is absorbing also all our negativity and so on. It's normal that the climate change will be worse and worse with a domino effect. That's absolutely obvious. It's cause, consequences. Okay, it's causality, basic. Okay, so if we don't change our behavior, how the result would be different? It's impossible. It couldn't be with a miracle. Okay, it's up to us. Okay, so that's why again Einstein say you cannot solve the problem with the same mindset which that's created it. Okay, it's the same principle. Okay, so very important. Eco, finance, environment, and the third one is social. Do you know a lot of people very well-rounded, very happy in their life in general? enjoying life. Okay, personally, I don't know that much. Okay, so, and even among those who are supposed to have fulfilled all the elements, the good career, the good title, the good car, the good house, second house, and so on. Okay, fine, and they buy, they have kids and so on. Everything is supposed to be, but they don't know how to explain, but they are missing something. Referring to what Elif Shafak said, no matter who we are, where we live, deep inside, we all feel incomplete. It's like if we have lost something and experiencing the need to find it back. This is really important. No matter who we are, where we live, deep inside, we all feel incomplete. It's like if we had lost something and experiencing the need to find it back. So what is this something? Apparently the unity we are coming from. So we have been separated. Why we feel so lonely most of the time? Probably because of that. So the goal maybe is not finding illusion through the materiality of to be possessed by possession, by ownership, by and so on. Apparently not. But you can see, you can see most of the stars, maybe 80% of them, they are nevrotic. Nevrotic. What does it mean? It means they have nevrose. It means that they are almost sick. They have everything physically, but they don't have any dreams anymore. So they are not balanced. So apparently this quest is vain. Okay, so that's why I come back. Societal. People are more and more lost with the bullshit jobs. Doesn't vibrate if they don't have a resonance with the system, with the job, and so on. Societal is the fact also there is more and more extremes. Reinforced, as explained, with algorithm, social networks, and so on and so forth. So people are less and less tolerant, and more people are afraid about globalization, to make the world global. Okay, with a new uniformity to a certain extent. So a lot of them, they become not tolerant anymore, or more culture focused on, okay, focused oriented, or navel gazing, or more nationalist, and so on. You know, this all kind of thing, which is because it has been established through the fact that the neighbor represents a threat due to the scarcity of the system, which is biased, a cognitive philosophy. I mean, vision. Why? Because in the old tradition, foreigners are perceived as, let's say, a source of improvement and largeness of our consciousness, and so on and so forth. So that's important also to take into account this. Okay, so we can consider the big danger of this identification. So cleansing, it's painful. It's really painful. So you can stop there and say, okay, I forget about everything. I come back in the rushing life, in the disease of time, as I say, busy and disease, the disease of busy life. In a certain extent, you know, you move all the time because you don't want to think. Okay, so you have entertainment all the time, and you are always rushing about many things like this. At least you are not. Go back to existential crisis. Okay, so that's one of the point I wanted to mention, the fact that it can be painful. Secondly, is never very let's say comfortable, nice to realize that our society is unbalanced. Of course, we can feel alone, we can feel incomplete, and or you have the feeling to be alone, and so on. Okay, so this is one of the danger, to stay and to stick on that, because then, okay, you understood that is like kind of distraction. Then what you want, what are the solutions? This is the most important thing. If we focus on the first step, we decrease our vibration, because we are angry, we are frustrating, we ruminate, and so on and so forth. You can see in the spiritual Facebook group and so on, how a lot of people are fighting all the time, and actually they know the theory of unconditional love and so on, and in Namaste always hug of light. But in parallel of that, if they don't implement the respect and so on, the fact to the benevolence, very important word, benevolence is beautiful word. So solidarity, all this kind of thing, this is not in the cloud, is operational. So this is important to take back this, okay? So, and especially with the notion of discernment, lucidity. If I spend a lot of time, and one key for this 46, with the notion of discernment, lucidity, fake news, to check your source, to diversify your different, let's say, environment with different perspectives, different cultures, and so on, and different sources, is extremely important to cross, because there is so many fake news or not argued. There is no argument. Yes, no, yes, okay, very constructive discussion, debate, okay. You know, so this is really important. Discernment, lucidity, once again, is one of the 5th Toltec agreement, okay? So it has been added a few years ago. So it means that the society is changing, and a lot of people are lost due to the polarity, due to algorithm. Okay, I'm not saying that this is because of the algorithm, of course not. If we are smart enough, algorithm propose what we have in history, that's it. Okay, so it's up to you actually to diversify these sources in general, and to question all the time, That's it's not because you read it somewhere or someone that you appreciate say something that is true. Okay, is not. Okay, I mean, it's not compulsory. Okay, so the very important point, one of the break is, so we say to go in a low vibration, but also to disresponsibilize. What does it mean? Not to be responsible about the situation. Saying, no, it's not my fault. It's my education, it's my parents, it's my neighbor, it's my stepmother, it's my best worst enemy. This is this minority. This is the government. This is the blah 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 blah. We all know the story. This is never your fault. Always the fault of other people. Okay, this is normal. Ego is existence. Is this the fruit of separate from other people, to compare, to differentiate? Okay, so that's important to avoid, to deny. Okay, to accept that it's a co-creation. Even if I try my best and so on, I'm a part of it. I'm a part of the game. So it's my co-responsibility. And even things which has been done before my birth, you see, at the extreme. So, but this is really important, because otherwise, you know, this all the people, and I see in the whole world, they only talk about galactics, aliens. Okay. Also, I like to learn about that and so on. I'm open to everything, but exclusively for spirituality, concretely. So, what do we think? We think that they will, like the snow, one day we wake up and they arrive and they did the job for us. Okay, nobody can go to toilets for you. Okay, so it's absolutely not the principle of know thyself and you will know the secret of the universe and God. You don't clean up anything. Do you think you change? You don't change within. I mean, you don't change yourself. You don't change the society. You clean up, and then you reproduce the same behavior, and you will have different results. No. It's the same principle. A guy is a kind of pork, you know. It's a teenager, he doesn't care, he drink and so on. It's a disaster. It's a big mess in his flat. Okay, there is a garbage everywhere. It's really not hygienical. Anyway, and one day, one of his friends for birthday offer him a cleaning lady. So she comes twice to clean up really, and everything is super clean. Do you think after 1 month it will still be clean? It will be exactly the same disaster. It will be the same mess. Why? Because if he doesn't change his habits, if he doesn't change his behavior, same cause, same consequences. It's the same. It's the causality. So why will it change? It's the same principle. So that's really important to reconsider this dimension, and to reconsider also that be the change that you want to see in the world is don't wait for people are all awakened for being nice with people. Okay, it's too easy in that case. Okay, so what are the solutions? So I say cleansing, okay, inner cleansing, the analysis of the situation, and then set up, define, depict the amazing world you would like. I did for the book for free, Sage Passage Utopia. Okay, you can find and download it from my website. Okay, aurelienmilo.com. Okay, so it's just and I spend a bit of time. I invite you to do exactly the same. Draw me the beautiful picture of what you want. You know, there is no favorable wind for those who don't know where they go. This is from Seneca, sorry. So, a Greek philosophy. Okay, so rise your vibration is extremely important. Rise your vibration to be happy. To be happy. In the Sage Passage Utopia, there is 69 different tools and exercise to be happy. Okay, most of the people you ask them, are you happy? Oh, I don't know. Do you know the concept of happiness? Yes, virtually, but how to explain concretely? They cannot, or they don't know how to access. So how do you want to reach something if you don't know how to do? Okay, there is in between key 20 and 21, between key 40, 41, there is 30 plus 30. So you have 60 different tools to be happy. Okay, but it's not a I mean, it's not for fun. It's rising your vibration. The more you are in harmony and so on, the more you vibrate and you radiate. You invite indirectly people to do the same. Okay, that's the point. You are luminous. Your light will enlighten people on their way. Okay, for them to find their own way. Okay, that's really important. Secondly, is a kind of state of mind. Okay, mindset and a discipline. Why? Because at the beginning it's gymnastics, not to get back to darkness and always comparing, not happy, and okay, that's a discipline and a desire and a mindset. That's important. And it can goes and back and so on. It's like tide, it's possible as well. Sometimes you doubt, it's normal process. Okay? To focus on basics. Focusing on basics is extremely important and is a full package. When I say is a state of mind, is that. What are the basics? Breathing properly. Key 23. Okay, you have the explanation why it's so important to oxygenate your brain and so on, bringing happiness, endorphins and so on. Secondly, aptitudes, skills, competencies and so on. And you have a notion of practice in it, okay, a guided meditation. So I invite you to do it. It's really important. Breathing is, for me, the most important physiological things, much more than eating. First, breathing. Second, meditation. Meditation, how to empty your mind to catch the wellness, the completeness, okay, to catch some new information. Otherwise, if you don't empty, it's like a full sponge. You don't sponge anything anymore, okay? Very important. Then, part of meditation, but the operational meditation, that we call mindfulness. Mindfulness is in the action, but you're aware of what you're doing. All your tasks with precision. You are aware about the reaction of your senses, your sensitivity, your 5 senses, okay? Touching, hearing, seeing, and so on. The perception and so on. Why? Because the more you do that, and you are in the present time, which is much more intensive. It's like HD. It's like high definition life. Okay, and thereby you can stimulate, arouse much more your sixth sense, which is third eye, which is intuition, which is creativity, and so on and so forth. So this is really important. So breathing, meditation, mindfulness. Also, you know, all the principle of hygiene of life. That to say a detox regularly, key 25, fasting, and so on. Good food. Good food, good mood, but also for nutrients, for enzyme, for cleaning naturally and so on. If you always eat junk food, it's normal that you are depressed. If you eat too much sugar, it's normal also. Okay, so good balance doesn't mean that you don't have junk food. Sometimes you can, but a good balance. Knowing that, okay, nutrition, physical activity like sport. You know, the yogi, they cannot consider that you know the theory without practicing yoga. Yoga, not aerobic, as the connection with the movements. Okay, so your body, your mind, and your soul. It's the same for Qigong, Tai Chi, for Chinese philosophy. It's the same principle. It's impossible to dissociate both aspects, the practice and the physical activity with the theory. Important one. Other one, you have others like, let's say, the connection with nature, find back your energy, okay, to be grounded, to be grateful, okay, all the time. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for this, the sun and so on. I feel it is so good, and all this kind of thing. And you rise your vibration. When you always say, as you know, you decrease your vibration. So it's just to be grateful, but also to have this notion of to be peaceful with your past, is to accept and to forgive, not forget, but to forgive. Okay, to say, okay, I do give you forgiveness, like this. You discharge, even for yourself. This is really important. There is many ways as well. Stop too much criticizing. Stop too much to compare. Establish more benevolence, solidarity. Establish also a kind of strategy, roadmap, like your center of interest, your objective, the timeline, the training you need eventually, the deadlines, the methodology, all this kind of thing. This is action and adjustment, resilience, corrective action and so on. This is stimulating. If you don't do anything, you will have no change, no results. So it's pragmatism as well. It's question of organization, is normal. I invite you also in this notion, as an example, is to go for a trip like Vipassana, for example, is for free. It's 10 days you go. There is everywhere in the world. Meditation, Vipassana is free, I insist. It's 10 days alone. You do it. Or you go with your backpack, just in nature, walking alone, to know yourself, and thereby you will know the secret of God and the universe. It's very important to do this kind of rites, symbolic stuff, and so on, approach. This is really important. For example, when I talk about pragmatism, we are establishing a platform of good ideas from the past, from nowadays, okay, for helping people to implement, and also for mimicry is when you see positive things, you want to do positive things. If you see only a disaster and so on, you don't want. You are not motivated. You are in the low vibration. That's the point. We want to invite people to re-believe in that, to have a certain, to arouse a momentum of, let's say, lucidity, optimism, and pragmatism. That's really important. Three things we wish. Another point, when we establish, referring to the key 45, sorry, education. We are teaching a new program with 20 different disciplines in Orphanage of Bali, and we are building a revolutionary school. Evolutionary school from, let's say, physically and online, okay, to change the mentality, empathy, non-violent communication, theater, gardening, personal development, project management, all this kind of thing, for them really to have abilities. Project management is like we do some sensibilization for ecology, plastic, recycling, and so on. All this kind of thing. It's practical. Okay. We are in a process also of establishing eco-friendly and community. It exists already, but same. It's practical. Okay. Be the change that you want to see in the world. We don't want to wait anybody for doing it. Okay. So I invite you to think about all these aspects. It is really important. I would like to conclude in a certain extent, even if there is no really conclusion, with a very beautiful sentence from Baal Shem Tov, Normally I wanted to share two, but I prefer to just focus on this one. The man next to you is your mirror. If your own face is pure, the image you perceive will also be perfect. On the other hand, if you see a flaw in the man next to you, it's your own imperfection that you discover. It showed what you have to correct about yourself. It's really beautiful because it's extremely well explained. Well, as a conclusion, this is endless, but it's very important to think about this notion of revelation, illusion, but to be aware, to embrace them, to show what you don't want or what doesn't vibrate, but to propose something in the action, be the change that you see in the world. There is many things, but the basics are very essential. Good food, sport, positive mindset, all this kind of thing. All this seems to be easy, but if you do at least this, I swear to you, it will be a springboard for more unity, and it will be increasingly. Okay, why? Because there is a mutual domino effect, a butterfly effect. Well, this is only one key for you to shape your master key to open up the door of consciousness, of love, of whatever you want. Okay, as you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.